Good morning. Firstly, unbelievable weather. Secondly, this is my first Friday that I haven't been working. So officially, like from now, I don't have a job. So we're up here this morning really early because the weather is going to be unbelievable this weekend. It's going to be about 30 and we needed to open the polytunnel up before before it just turned into an oven. So that's what we're up here doing this morning, and I'm going to be heading off to Essex this afternoon, so won't be up here for a couple of days. Next time I'll be up here will be Monday, I think. You know, like saying goodbye to the courgettes and stuff. But yeah, basically it is a gorgeous morning. I absolutely love the sunshine, but I don't cope particularly fantastically in the heat. So really good timing that we've had all this cool weather and now it's going to be 30 degrees. I'm going to be on a farm in Essex. Fab. I hope he's got some shade. Hey, Lily my Lily. We are going to need some shade. Dills. We are. I'm glad I'm not wearing a fur coat. You stay in the cool. Step in. Oh, hot. Is it already really warm in there?
Coming, but
Ooh, yep, pretty warm. So everything is growing so fast, it's going to be unrecognisable after the weekend. It is just, because we've had so much wet, obviously, that the ground is basically saturated, and now with all this sunshine, I can basically see everything growing as I'm standing here. But it's going to work out quite nicely because next Thursday, so after my weekend away, next Thursday I'm going to do the plot tour. So everything's going to be about a third bigger than it is now by next week. Well, like everywhere else, it is pretty late, but things are coming. I mean, you can see the beans now, they're really starting to get to the top of the arches. They're really filling out and they've been really kind of scraggly up until now. And I think we are about to hit courgette glut season. We've had a couple of small ones up until now, but they're just now coming thick and fast. So I reckon after the weekend, we're going to be picking every day. Okay, picked some lunch, chard of course. Actually, this is the first picking of the new chard for this year, so that's quite exciting. That's what I'm having for lunch. But it's a bit early to be thinking about lunch because it's actually only not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet. You know, forward planning. But basically, that's it. See you in a few days, allotment.
The next station is Burns Court.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
So why exactly am I going to Essex, I hear you ask? Well, I'm going to visit the Essex Allotment, which is actually not an allotment anymore, although we will stop by the allotments. Alex started off on an allotment, which is where I met him on Instagram when he was just doing the same thing I do, you know, look at that blue sky, documenting bits and pieces that you're growing on the plot. But since then, in the last couple of years, he has done something pretty incredible, which has gone from being just a personal allotmenter, growing vegetables for his family. He started up a CSA veg box and he has now got a piece of land and he's got his own farm. So it's now the Essex Allotment Farm. and I am going to visit it for the first time, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next station is Chelmsford. We made it. Okay. This is the hotel room that I'm going to be in for 2 evenings. Or 2 nights, not evenings, 2 nights. Okay, it is Saturday morning. I'm going to go down and have some breakfast, and then I'm going to meet Alex. I am super shiny because we've had terrible weather. Like, you know, I've been whinging about the weather for like the last however many weeks, basically since January. I've been whinging about the weather. Well, this is the first weekend I can't whinge about the weather, or if I am whinging about the weather, it's in the opposite direction, because it is an absolutely stonking blue sky out there. It is warm, like 28. So I am super shiny, covered in sun cream, you know, like factor 50 basically. Yeah, so like later in the season I built up a bit of resistance, but this early on, like, it's like, oh, sunlight, burnt. You might just see me like hiding in the shrubbery, maybe, I don't know. I think he's picking me up from here this morning. I'm not entirely sure. He's been away golfing. I don't know if he's been actually playing golf or if he's been watching golf. I hope he's been playing golf, because just walking around a field following a man with a stick. Anyway, he's going to come and pick me up this morning, so I'm going to whiz down, have some breakfast, and yeah, see you shortly. Okay, breakfast had. I am stuffed. I've got to go and walk around allotments now. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Oh. Okay, now we hang around on the pavement and wait for him. Is this him? He said he was driving his mum's car. Is it him? I hope it's him, because otherwise I'm just filming some random bloke trying to turn his car around. Awkward. Hello. Who is that bloke? So on further investigation, Alex has just been watching the golf rather than playing, but he's explained it's not as boring as I thought it was going to be, and to be fair, this is coming from the girl who watches the snooker. So anyway, our first port of call is where Alex's old allotment is. And this is going to be really interesting, just having a look around a completely new allotment site. Obviously, I know our site so well, but I haven't really been around other sites, not in any detail. First impressions, wow, you can drive in. That's a pretty big one. And also it looks huge.
Hello, how are we doing? Yes, yeah, all good.
Well, this is Alex's allotment site, not this like wild, not the wildflowers behind me, but the actual site. And one of the reasons that I'm actually down here in Essex is because it is their allotment competition judging day. And I'm here as a judge. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? Yeah, so anyway, that's what I'm doing here. So I have got my map of the plot. Alex is my guide and we're walking around. We've done a bit of a skirt round initially and we kind of picked out the ones that we want to go back to, and now we're going back to the ones that look incredible, and I'm going to take you around with me. So yeah, we're going to have a proper nosy on other people's fantastic allotment plots, which is, it's an alright way to spend a Saturday, isn't it? Okay, thankfully these plots are really clearly numbered. So on my site it's just impossible to know what's what. Something I would say is we've had a wander around and the beans are about 3 times bigger than they are in like my area of London. Like obviously Chelmsford is the place to grow beans because they're massive. But yeah, can you see Alex is over there with some bloody enormous sunflowers. He's over there doing his social media thing. I tell you what, we look like a right pair of nincompoops wandering around these allotments with our gimbals. It's like being a wildlife photographer.
Getting stage fright. So yeah, we're here on one of the more established plots, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, there isn't anything that this chap isn't growing. Oh, it's just real allotment envy. It's yeah, there's not much more I can say about it other than it's just incredible.
So this is really lovely to see, this polytunnel with just masses of nasturtiums just spilling out onto the path. It's gorgeous. And look at the size of these courgette plants. I mean, they are above my waist. They are some happy courgettes, and they've got tomatoes growing up through them. They're lovely. I'll tell you one thing about this site though, there's barely any raised beds on this whole site, which is really unusual. Like my site, we've got loads of raised beds, and you know what my plot's like, it's all raised beds. But look at the size of these sunflowers too. I mean, they've got to be 12 foot. So yeah, this is a pretty nice plot. It's pretty much everything here. I have noticed around the site, like quite a few places have got blight on the tomatoes, which is a bit sad. But these ones are fine. And also, vital judging category is going to be chard. And I'm pleased to say there's chard. Got a mix of colours in here. I guess it's a rainbow mix of some sort. That's a gorgeous one, the green leaf with the red stem. And there's also some dwarf purple beans down here. I've never grown dwarf purple beans before. Always climbing purple beans, never little ones. More massive sunflowers. Another thing about this site, the onions are incredible. These are the onions that we would dream of back in Richmond, my goodness. Loads of potatoes. The leeks, all in their little holes, looking lovely. Yeah, huge amount of rhubarb here too. Like on my site, everybody's got like one rhubarb plant or whatever. Here, people have got all these different varieties. They're all named and labelled. This is obviously a place where they really appreciate a rhubarb. Gorgeous. And just have a look at this fruit cage. That is a fruit cage, isn't it? Look at these blueberries. They are fat and gorgeous. Red currants. Massively dominated by fruit on this whole site, actually. I've been really surprised by that. Pinkberries. Oh, look at his fat gooseberries. They're massive. Yeah, the ratio here of fruit to vegetables, and by fruit I'm not including like tomatoes and stuff, I mean like sweet fruit, berries and stuff. It's really dominated by fruit. I just feel exactly like the bird that can't get through this cage. They are beautiful. Something that is lovely here is that they've got a couple of sort of community spaces or spaces which are owned by groups, and this one's particularly nice. They've got a beautiful big artichoke, and just it's lovely. This one is actually kind of run by the Wilderness Foundation, which is rather nice. Some very impressive beetroot gone to seed here. The dreaded asparagus pea. These things are gross. They're very beautiful plants, but they do just taste like toilet inner rolls dipped in nail varnish remover. And this is another fruit cage. There's loads of fruit cages around here, but look at how this is like an irrigation system for strawberries. This is a lot of fruit cage for not a lot of strawberries. Very fine gooseberry bush here though. Very fine. But yeah, quite the cage. This is nice. So inside, hang on, I'll go around the other side. So here, instead of kind of shuffling the tomatoes forward so they fit, they're curved over the roof. So it's like going to be a bit of a tunnel of tomatoes eventually. That's quite a sweet idea. More massive rhubarb. Rhubarb is the thing. Seriously.
Perfect, thank you.
And look at the bees on here. Absolutely humming. That's what you want to see, isn't it? That's really what you want to see. I've spotted a melon under here. There he is. This is the only melon I've seen on the whole site so far. Yeah. So it is really different in character to where my plot is, which I found really interesting. Quite a different sort of selection of fruit and veg, and like I say, very dominated by fruit. What is nice is that they, a bit like our site, they do have some quite mature and sizable fruit trees, whereas I know on a lot of sites you're not allowed to have that. So that is really lovely. And look at that. Huge space to drive in and park your car. That is quite something. Actually, this is such a well organised site. Have a look at this. They have a little allotment shop, and they also have a shipping container with a kettle in it, etc. And that's where Alex and I are going to go and discuss what we've seen.
Are you doing some kind of crazy time lapse, or are you?
I'll speed it up at the end.
So the decisions that you've got to make is obviously first, second, third, and then any other note. Any other to note. And then if you're alright with it, I'll obviously write down the results, scribble some points on why you chose those ones, and then we'll do the same but on a much quicker scale. The whole process again for the newbies. So far from, and it is a long-term plan. I'm talking, in the next 5 years. So, yeah. Sorry.
That looks remarkably like a pub.
Are we? Don't
Yeah, you're in.
No, stop following me. Cheers.
Cheers. That's good. Okay, so we had a couple of pints, and then because it's so hot, I came back to the hotel to have a shower, and Alex went to sort out some of the bits and pieces for the farmers market in the morning. So the plan was that I was going to come down, do the allotment judging, which we did successfully, thank goodness, and then we were going to go and head to the farm, I really want to see Alex's farm and to pick some stuff to go to the farmer's market first thing tomorrow morning. So we had quite a, like, you know, military operation planned. So anyway, I've come back to the hotel to have a shower before heading out to dinner. So Alex was going to swing past here at 7 and it's now 6:30. So I've just had a phone call from Alex. He's been pinged by the track and trace people. All the plans are out the window. Oh, you couldn't make it up really, could you? You couldn't make it up. Sorry, I'm a terrible sweaty mess. I haven't actually had the shower yet. Yeah, so this vlog was my trial run of what it's like to do collaborations and vlogging on the move and all that kind of thing. And yeah, up until about half an hour ago, it was going really well. Now it's not going so well. And yeah, so I guess it's all over. I was so looking forward to seeing Alex's farm. I suppose it just means I have to come again, doesn't it? Oh, sorry. You're balanced on my knees. I expect I'll just have some dinner myself here and head off in the morning. I just rang Mum actually to say, you'll never guess what. Alex has been pinged, etc, etc. And there was an allotment party today on like a neighbouring allotment. So she was pretty merry actually and not very sympathetic to my plight. What time is it? 6:15. It's definitely time for a glass of wine. So, yeah, basically I'm spending another evening on my own in the hotel bar with a glass of wine. But at least it does mean I can get the editing done before I get home, which is a bonus because it means that I might be able to spend Monday doing something that's not editing. You know, positives. Good morning. So today is panning out, obviously, somewhat different than I had planned. At this time, what time is it? It is 10 o'clock. The market should be in full swing, but I'm not there, and nor is Alex. So I'm just clearing up my hotel room and I'm gonna get back on the train and go home. It hasn't really worked out as planned, has it? And then just like that, we are back on plot 37. Didn't go to plan, did it? Okay, well, there's just stuff to get on with here then, I suppose. And look at this gorgeous sunflower that's come out in that one day that I was away. It is a beauty. I mean, the sunflowers we saw on the plot in Chelmsford were massive. This is the biggest mine I've got this year. This was a self-seeded one. And something about the self-seeded ones, they just didn't get got by the slugs, whereas all the ones I planted myself did. So, fantastic. Let's have a look how hot it got in here while I was traipsing around overseas. 50.8. Whoo! It has hastened a couple of tomatoes though. We've got a little sun gold in here. Beauty. That's a pretty good consolation prize. Right, let's check out the greenhouse. Lots of things are coming up. Mustard's gone crazy. And what else have we got? We have got the chives are all coming up. They're looking really good. Actually, everything needs a water desperately. Right, let's pot some of these up. Okay, I found myself a bit of shade. So these are the lettuces that I sowed in whichever vlog it was. Was it last week? Week before? Had a bit of patchy germination around here, or I thought we had patchy germination, but when I'm looking, there are stubs where they have been and they've just been eaten off. It's the slugs again. It's the slugs. It's the slugs again. It's the slugs. It's the slugs. It's the slugs again. It's the slugs. It's the slugs. But what has survived, I'm just going to pot up, prick out and pot up, and just let them get a little bit bigger before they go out into the ground to be eaten by the slugs then. These ones that are really densely packed, I'm not going to prick out. They are the mustards, and I'm just going to let them get slightly bigger, and then as I'm planting them out, I'll separate them out. So they'll just stay there. It's only these ones I'm really going to do something with. So I don't always prick out lettuces, but in this case, I'm definitely going to. I mean, they're not quite as densely packed in there as they would have been if the slugs hadn't gone through there before me. Can you see? So this is the one that I'm potting up, but is that focused? Can you see it? Oh, there's two more in there that are just stubs. So yeah, obviously they would have been considerably closer packed and there would be more of them if they'd all come up. I mean, I think I've got enough here. It's not the end of the world. There's another one. But part of the reason that I'm doing it this way in this particular case is that I want these lettuces to be a bit more robust when they go in. Really early in the year when it's cool, I do sometimes just put them straight out like this, or let them get a little bit bigger in the tray and put them out. But it's going to be so hot for the next couple of weeks that I really want these guys to have quite a root system on them before they go out, because otherwise if I planted these straight into the ground like this, wouldn't matter how much I watered them, they're just going to fry. So I'm hoping to bring these on a little bit, even though the space is ready for them in the beds. I'm just going to bring them on a little bit and mollycoddle them to try and give them the best possible chance when they go out. I've got like 6 or 7 different varieties here, and I'm totally mixing these up as I go. I mean, I know what I've sowed, and as they grow, all of the varieties look really quite different. The only two that start off looking quite similar really are the Valmain and the Little Gem. But it doesn't matter if they're all planted together. There's only a couple of them that need a bit of space for heading up, and I know which ones they are. So I don't have a problem with mixing them up. But what I am finding is I'm running out of space. There's actually more of these than I thought there were. So the idea is just to give each lettuce a bit more of a chance. I'm going to repopulate the tray with what's left in there, just spread them out a bit. Just give them all a bit of a chance, that's all. And talking of lettuces, so many of ours have bolted, but we've got to take some home for dinner, so we're going to go and pick them. Cutie.
Nice little tight head on that. And this one.
It's putting up a strong defence.
It is. Well, I've got a little tiny pair of nail scissors to do it with, so not. It's just about
Beautiful.
to go. Right, okay. That's the lettuces for today. Right, and these ones, I see they're coming back with little.
They are. They're looking good, aren't they? Okay.
Right, okay. You ready? Off.
Well, I'm back home. Got myself a glass of wine. First thing to say is I am really sorry that that was not what was promised. I'm really disappointed that we didn't get to go to the farm with Alex. I'm really disappointed that we didn't get to see him setting up at the farmer's market and doing all of the things that I had planned to show you. All I can say is I'm really sorry. It's like so many things. If I had known, well, obviously if I had known that he was going to get pinged, I wouldn't have gone. But if I had known that that was the only bit of footage I was going to get was from us looking around the allotments, I would have filmed so much more in detail, like looking at each allotment and all of that kind of stuff. But I didn't know it was meant to be just like a little tiny segment of, oh, we're having a look at the allotments. Now let's go to the main event, to the farm. But it didn't work out that way. So I ended up having 2 nights in a hotel room and a couple of dinners on my own for about 20 minutes footage walking around some allotments. I don't think the return on that's going to be excellent, is it? It's a good start, Jessie. Excellent start. Really good start to this, like not having a job thing, doing vlogging thing. Yeah, just spend loads of money and don't get anything for it. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful, isn't it? One of the things I was really sad about though, like not just not being able to film it, but I really wanted to see it myself. Really wanted to see it. Oh God, I'm so sweaty. Oh God, so sweaty. It's currently 31 degrees in Richmond at the moment. It's quite warm. 31. Hence the slick. So sweaty. Sorry. Yeah, I just really wanted to see it myself. And also, like, I first met Alex was just over a year ago. It would have been kind of like February 2020, just before COVID really kicked in. And we met at an absolutely atrocious home base event, like a launch of their spring products or something. It was a joke. I mean, it was really bad. And so that was, I knew him off Instagram and that was the first time we met. So we just went to the pub and he's a really great guy. And it would have just been nice to be able to spend a bit of time and like talk vegetables, which we didn't really get a great deal of time to do, which was really sad. So I said at the beginning, Alex is the Essex Allotment. If you want to go and have a look at what the farm looks like yourself, if you don't already follow him, all the details are underneath. It is the Essex Allotment, and he's got a YouTube channel and an Instagram. Go and have a look at what we didn't get to see, because it's well worth following. It's really exciting watching somebody go from an allotment holder to it being a whole career. And in the CSA veg boxes is really interesting. So CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture, so it's when you buy shares in a box. If you follow Tap and Noth, they do the same thing. Yeah, basically it's just really disappointing, and I am really sorry I didn't get to take you with me, and I'm really sorry I didn't get to go myself. Having said that, I did quite enjoy just like spending time in the hotel. I haven't been to a hotel for such a long time. Even if it was totally unnecessary, the staff were really nice. Because I didn't know what was going on, I kept changing my plans. The poor girl at the reception must have thought I was a nut job. Yeah. Even though that didn't go to plan, and it like seriously didn't go to plan, I'm not put off. I really enjoyed the vlogging. I thought I would be well embarrassed filming on trains and just out and about or in a bar or whatever. Turns out I'm all right with it, and I'd really like to expand these things. There's quite a lot of places I would like to visit. I promise the content will be a bit more engaging next time, because it won't just be me like looking at other people's vegetables. I mean, I love looking at other people's vegetables. Don't get me wrong, I love that bit. But I'd like to go and see gardens. We're going to go back to my sister's house soon. You remember we went and had a look around her garden? God, it was right at the beginning of the year, wasn't it, before everything kicked off. We're going to go back to her house and see what her garden's looking like. She's really pleased with it. She keeps saying, when are you coming back down to see? The garden's looking amazing. So definitely going down to see her as soon as I can. Things are going to be a bit easier from now on. I mean, rightly or wrongly, all the restrictions, basically all the COVID restrictions, were lifted today in the UK. Seems a little bit keen or confident to me, but you know, that's what they've done. So it means that like traveling and stuff is basically back on across the country. It means that you can stand at a bar in a pub. It's not all table service. I realised when I was just going through editing this video that when I said Alex had been pinged, for people not in the UK, I don't know if you get pinged elsewhere. So our track and trace system, like our track and trace system is like an app, and when you've been in contact with somebody who's then later tested positive for COVID, like all the people that they've been with during their contagious phase get pinged, and then they have to self-isolate for 10 days, which is what Alex is doing now. If that wasn't clear, I apologise, that must have been very confusing for you. But basically what I'm trying to say is that it hasn't put me off. In fact, it's made me think that it's possible that I can travel around, go and see other things, and just bring you with me, which means that it makes my life a lot easier, because doing 2 videos a week really kind of ties you into a spot. And it's nice to know, even if I'm not going to be doing it in a hurry, it's nice to know that that kind of freedom does exist. And like I say, we'll be back down at my sister's house soon. That's going to be the next trip. And then I'm going to go back to Essex. I'm going to go back to the farm. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the farm because I'm proper disappointed about not seeing it. Proper disappointed. I remember when he first got that land, I was so excited. Yeah. Anyway, Thursday plot tour. I've got a bit of a manic week ahead. I have a friend's wedding on Thursday. It's currently Monday. I currently don't have anything to wear for said wedding, which is alarming. It's more than alarming, actually. It's pretty worrying. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue of something I've got to deal with, and I hate clothes shopping. Hate it. It's just awful. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. Basically, guys, I'm really sorry that didn't work out as it did. At least I got my lettuces potted up, and you did see Alex really briefly. I mean, we didn't even get a photograph together. Like, the thumbnail for this is not going to be with a picture of Alex, which is just ludicrous. And we only had 2 pints. It's not on, is it? It's not on. Anyway, cheers, guys. To anybody who's got this far and came with me to Essex and didn't get what they wanted out of Essex, came back and you're still with me, cheers. Cheers, I really appreciate it. Cheers. See you next week.